get my stand situated. There we go. I don't necessarily got to hold this thing forever. Welcome back, folks. We are in my hotel room. We are in my hotel room, and I'm actively trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this phone set up. But I really want to talk to you guys. As people trickle in, I know it's in the morning. It is 8:47 here in LA, here in the morning. But I want to. There we go. Cool. There we go. So I want to actually talk to you guys about traveling with your obsession, the obsession to play, the obsession to make art, the obsession to practice, the curiosity behind practicing, the curiosity behind songwriting, always traveling with, I travel with journals, sketchbooks, and if it's not that, it's my iPad. Just wanting to talk to you guys about that. So, as I first of all, thank y'all. Thank the folks that are tuning in and rolling in and stuff like that. From wherever you are in the world, I am here in LA in my the Orvis store. Later on today at the Orvis Pasadena store. So if you're watching this right now, you're at or in LA and want to come and check me out and come hang out, say hello, learn and talk a little bit about hunting and conservation and getting people out there, come check me out at Orvis Pasadena. But that is not why we're on the line today. Why we are on the line today is because on these trips, so like, pretty much right now, like my life pretty much consists of work with my nonprofit, my wife and I's nonprofit, Minority Outdoor Alliance, and also a lot of traveling, traveling for hunting, traveling for education, traveling for art stuff, and one thing that I said when I was growing, when I grew up, was I've always wanted to travel. Like that was always a big thing for me, was being able to go and see the world, and I now do that. But I do that now with my guitar. So this is my favorite guitar. I take it with me everywhere. I write on it the most. I learn on it the most. I've got this one. I've got my Ibanez at home. I've had a couple other ones that I just really didn't gel with, but this one, I've got my Taylor home, but that needs to be fixed. But this is my favorite guitar. It's a Martin Dreadnought Jr. And reason being is number one, scale length and all of that stuff just really fits for the style of playing that I like doing. Blues is just a short 24-inch scale, but also it is just really easy to travel with. And so I say all that to say, you have to be, as an artist, like I use a lot of my travel opportunities and stuff like that, the times that I sit in a hotel room by myself, or when my wife travels with me, it depending on the trip, we'll go, we either go together or go separate. It depends on who, what's necessary. And either way, I spend a lot of time in hotel rooms, which is honestly, if I can be totally honest, one of some of my favorite moments of just sitting in a hotel room, sitting there early morning. You got the sun coming in, brainstorming and writing, right? Like brainstorming, writing out ideas. If it's a drawing, I love a good hotel pen and a little pad that they normally leave you. I don't see one here, but normally they'll leave you a little pen and a pad, and I like to do little drawings and stuff like that on there. But all of that being said, I think it is just being able to travel with my guitar, being able to and I've always done this, make artwork on the road and things like that. Just make artwork about what's inspiring me at the moment. Like when you travel a lot, it really is about being in the moment. Um, and those moments are special to me. But I think what it's a deeper reflection on is just the obsession that you have to have as an artist and as a musician. And I think about these things, and that topic has kind of come up for me in a number of different places. Matt, what's up, buddy? I'm looking at the folks that come in. What's going on? Everybody that's joined, thank y'all. But yeah, getting back to it. I've known this and I've lived with this. So when I was in college, my undergrad, one of my professors, Scott Marini, um, he used to say this thing. He was like, if the United States Postal Service is running, you need to be making art. Like rain, sleet, snow, shine, make art. And I think that really has a lot to do with the obsessive compulsive nature of being an artist. Like I travel with my guitar a lot because um not I get a lot of questions. People are like, oh man, are you playing somewhere and this and that? And literally, no, I've only played one place live, and that was on a humbug. But I was able to do that because I had my guitar with me. I just literally ran down the street and went to the hotel, grabbed it, and this was when we were in Louisville. But like everywhere I've gone, if I could not take my shotgun for hunting, if I'm traveling or something like that, I take my guitar because there's this obsession that you have to have. Brick Creations, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Matthew Carell, welcome. Thank y'all for joining in the live. Um, one of the things that I think is just really important is number one, when you have a thing like a guitar carries a conversation, like it always does. Um, I probably got asked 4 or 5 times just last night in the ride from the airport LAX to here, out in Pasadena. Yeah, I have my guitar. Um, Boom, Martin Dreadnought Jr., DJR10E. I'll talk about that in a second. But Brick Creations, thank you so much. Thank you for your donation. Um, so with it, I've gotten questions from TSA people. Oh man, where you performing in that? And it's so funny. I've been tempted to be like, they're like, oh, do you record something like that? And I've been tempted to be like, yeah, like and direct them to certain things. Um, you know, oh, I don't know how to. It's not real. I appreciate it. $500, real or fake, brother man. It's all good. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm one of them people, man. I'm just starting this YouTube thing and really just enjoy the engagement. Um, what songs do I play? So right now, out here in this hotel, learning a lot of Jimi Hendrix stuff, a lot of Muddy Waters stuff, bluesy kind of stuff. I'm really into it. Really into the history. And again, a lot of those times sitting here in a hotel just give me a lot of time to they give me a lot of time to just reflect on my work. But like I said, I take it with me because it is just an obsessive thing. And you have to be like that, um, to be an artist. Just sitting here and one little riffs and stuff that I like. You like I can sit here and do that. Like just sit there and do that all morning and just get the day going. Um, just listen to certain things. But for me, I'm not necessarily always even playing with an end goal a lot of the times. A lot of the times I am really just either waking myself up, just kind of waking myself up, getting like I am now, just getting my day going. Um, And it's something about it. Even when I'm drawing, people say don't doodle, in the art world, don't just be sitting there doodling. Guitar world, don't noodle and this and that. But I really think there's value in just making sound. you know, I think there's a lot of value. How often do you play? Well, that's the subject of the conversation today. Every day. Um, I play every day, multiple times a day. And how I do it a lot of the time. So I'm blessed that I work for myself. Um, and in between calls, in meetings, in between everything, you just got to pick it up. Reason I like this particular guitar um, is because of just how it's built, scale length, and all of that stuff. It's just very easy to have around, and I think you should have a guitar around all the time, if you can. If your situation is such that you can just kind of have one near, great. But for me, the obsession is not even that I feel like I'm gonna like forget something. Because I probably started playing guitar going on a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. Like really actively started. I've played every day for roughly about a year and a half, 2 years at this point. Um, and I'll even say when I was 25, I initially attempted to start playing and picked up the wrong guitar. I got a classical nylon string, and that was fun to learn. Um, but I definitely was not. I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't necessarily playing the right thing, the right type of guitar. But now, especially like with this one, there was this love at first sight kind of vibe that I had with this guitar. I walked into the store. It was Jackson's Music out in Douglasville. Um, and man, when I tell you, I've been looking at a couple of other different Martins and stuff like that, and they were cool. I didn't really gel with them, but then this one was sitting in the corner, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" Um, and I got to trying to bend notes on it and stuff like that. So, um, and just doing a little like I don't know. It just those things that like I don't know. It just had a vibe. It kind of had a sound to it that I just really, really, really liked. And again, it was something that I can just sit just about anywhere and think around on, mess with. And I think that's part of it, man. Like you have to more so than like making something good when it comes to being an artist. Um, more important than just making and doing something really good is just for me what I'm learning is just pick it up and play. Um, Pick it up and play. Feel good about it. Try to feel good about the sound you're making. We talk about Jimi Hendrix and a lot of these blues guys. Um, a lot of the history that I like to go over when I think about art. Some of my favorite artists are Pablo Picasso, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Thornton Dial, Cy Twombly. Like when I think about those guys from art to music, um, I don't know how obsessed with those with like trying to be perfect everything was so much as just the obsession of making something, right? Like I would be making art. I've always made art since I was a baby, since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I didn't know anything about making it in the art world, right? When I picked up a guitar, it was just the interest in wanting to just wanting to play, and now I still very much so retain that. um and really dialing in my focus on like getting the most out of the tool that I have available, right? Not getting a bunch of other ones or nothing like that, but really just trying to gel and bond with the tool that I have available. Like, I think there's even an obsession with the thing. Like, there's some of us that like to have a lot of different things, a lot of different guitars and this and that. And I would like to, I don't know how well this would work, but I kind of like to take the Willie Nelson approach and have like one guitar forever, right? And I know he's had others and this and that, but like I'm really into how does something, like, again, the obsession, the concept behind the obsession. Why, what can I do with this thing for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 something odd years? And that's not saying I won't have another one, but I'm like really obsessed in pulling the most out of the tool, right? With paintbrushes, with painting, with art making materials, right? Like, what is, whatever the material is, whatever the tool is, what is the most that I can get out of it with making, right? Obviously you'll have your limitations, but I think the obsession as an artist comes very much so with how to get the most out of the gear, right? And really maximizing that, how to get the most out of your hand, right? How to get the most out of your thought and idea. And really even how to get the most out of every experience that you have. I could sit here and it's just me in this hotel room and it's fun. Like I said, I really enjoy practicing my guitar in just all the many hotel rooms that I stay in, doing the work that I do. And it's just really cool to just kind of sit here and just think, man, like, and just sit and think. And a lot of the times I'll sit and mess with this kind of stuff and just get different ideas, get different ideas. There you go. And just kind of think, kind of plink around until either a song or something like that comes to my head, or a feeling, a mood. But yeah, a lot of time, stuff with, a lot of times Prince makes me think really introspectively. Yeah, Prince makes me think a lot. And then I really like this chord. Like, a lot of the things and what I'm also trying to do is like get really obsessive, like in these little moments, get really obsessive about playing, really chords that I think are really beautiful. But I don't know, man, just maximizing all of the curiosity that comes with creativity. And in order to do that, I believe as an artist, you really do have to be like with hyper obsessed with the process. I think you have to be hyper obsessed with the process as well as the end result. Probably more so than the end result, if I'm being totally honest. And just being willing to also be kind of a steward and an advocate, for these things too. I think on the road, especially, a lot of the times people are like, oh, do you play and this and that? And it's an opportunity to kind of talk about all of the work that I do. And it's just a simple conversation starter. It's an easy icebreaker. People usually, and no one has ever asked me, "Oh man, can you bust out and play right now?" No, people are generally curious, like, "Hey man, what, tell me more about that." And it's usually, like I said, in an airport in passing or something like that, or an Uber or something. But just, having the feeling the need to practice, to play, to make something, to not make something, and just listen to sound. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. The need to draw and render the world around me, to write about the world around me and the circumstances that are going in. I think that's the thing that makes really awesome and fantastic and great artists. Being obsessive about history, you know earlier on this stream, someone asked, well, what do you play? Well, blues and rock, and um mostly because I'm just really obsessed with the process and the history behind things, and knowing the people that came earlier. When I think about either learning new songs, or as I go through this Jimi Hendrix book that I'm working on, or that I'm using to learn his songs, and it was given to me by my good buddy Gadigor, and my teacher, mentor, friend. Um, as I also refer to this Chicago blues book, um, and that's like the Bible for me, right? I like there's this it's I don't know. I've just been really into like the history and the stories behind the people too. Like with music and art, man, there's so many different wormholes to get lost in. Um, I was always told I was actually pretty good at teaching art history to my middle and high school students, and I've gotten a couple of opportunities to speak, um, like as a guest at a couple of colleges up at Emory and Columbus State. Um, but yeah, like I was good at teaching art and art history because I just am really interested in like these crazy backstories behind people, right? Like their sex lives, right? Their lives on the road, their lives off the road, the women that they were with. And that's for artists and musicians. I mean, like Pablo Picasso and BB King. Hey, BB King had a lot of kids. Jackson Pollock, right, and his alcohol abuse. And I think the man was jealous of Lee Krasner, his wife. Like, I really think so, because her work was better than his, in my opinion. Um, like the emotions and the different historical period, the civil rights things and the wars that were going on during a lot of these arts and musical movements and moments. All of that stuff is really interesting to me, and all of it really, really, really explains a lot about why these guys played the things that they did and how they did, and why. But it just really continues me down the wormhole of obsession of his. Like, if you're going to get good at music and art, you have to know history. I'm just going to say it out loud. Like, but you don't, like, it's good to know a lot of history. Like, I'm just, when it comes to art, that's what my degree is in. And I'll say that, like, I'm way more versed in a lot more history, but I've also been doing it my entire life, right? Like, I've been making art my entire life and been learning it since I was a kid on a formal level, and I'm very practical in the streets kind of way too. Music, I gravitated to music because blues is inherently an African American expression, right? Like, especially like old school Delta blues, all of that stuff, Piedmont blues, all of that stuff. And you find your connection to the obsession when you find a connection that relates to you, right? So like these blues guys, that sound to me feels familiar. It feels like something calling back from a different time, but feels very relevant to me now. Um, and I am obsessed with trying to be able to make that sound with my own story. I'm really, really, really into that. With art, the same way. Like I'm really, really, really interested in the guys whose stories that I've either somehow found a connection with, or something about it just really helped me identify an aspect of their work. Like I said, everything is derivative, man, and you have to learn your history, but most of all, you have to be obsessed with all those parts of it, man. I don't know any really good musicians or any really good visual and fine artists that are not just a nut about some aspect or facet of history. Um, so yeah, with that being said, thank y'all, man. I really wanted to get on here. Like I said, I'm trying to make it a habit of just giving y'all my stream of consciousness and thoughts and things like that. Um, that just come every day. I want to get on here. I've always had a thing about having like kind of a TV show kind of deal, and ever since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated with TV show hosts, and their opinions about things. And like I'm from the '90s, man, so we had like Ricky Lake, Howard Stern, real late night stuff like that. Just we had Oprah, we had I mean, the '90s was just TV show era all the time. And what it did was really take me back to a time that, I mean, people really were talking about process and all of those things. And I don't know, I felt like I got a chance to really see into who the guests were as well as who the host was. In this case, man, I just really have a lot to say about music and art, and a lot that I want to share with you guys along the way. And I appreciate y'all watching my channel, supporting, tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to mix a lot of my music, art, and my work in the outdoors. That's where my stuff falls. If y'all see new shirt, new merch for my sporting blend of coffee, so go to AmericanSoul.com, and you can purchase the sporting blend of coffee that we have in collaboration with Grassroots Coffee Roasters out in Thomasville, Georgia. Stay tuned for new work. We've got some new items, some new pieces out. Like I said, I've got a belt right here that I made, that will be uploaded pretty soon. We've got some holiday pieces coming out as well. So all that being said, man, I'm just really grateful that you guys tune into my channel. Thank y'all for the awesome feedback that y'all have given me. Like I said, the channel, we've been doing this roughly about 2 years now. And I've just gradually started increasing some of the different offerings and things that come onto here. But again, it falls back down to the obsession. With this YouTube channel, I am obsessed about music, about art, and about nature, and interacting and engaging with nature. So with that being said, folks, thank y'all for tuning in. Let me know how you like it. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and check out more of our videos on our website. You can get to our newsletter. You can see more of our content. Listen to our podcast, all of that stuff. All right, folks. Thank y'all again.